So India is reeling at 51 for 4 at stumps on day 3, and I came across a news piece here: retirement cricket's afterlife, not a dead end anymore. In India, so let's read this and see what they are saying about retirement here. I think this is hinting towards our senior players like Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ashwin, maybe even Jadeja, and asking them to retire. So let's read this. In India, our greats are lifelong celebrities holding a cricket credit card that provides unlimited benefits of adulation and riches. Bumrah's guided missiles take less than a second to reach the batter. In that time, the batter has to decide whether to play or leave, defend, or look to score, all in the blink of an eye. But sometimes players have all the time in the world to make the toughest decision in cricket, to decide when to call time on one's career and retire. To unstrap pads, dump bats in the kit bag, mark the run up one final time. It's never easy to retire and slip into an uncertain afterlife. Recently, Jimmy Anderson and David Warner retired in somewhat similar circumstances. Recently, Jimmy Anderson and David Warner retired in somewhat similar circumstances. Anderson's farewell was a gorgeous sunlight morning at Lord's. The test ended before lunch on day 3, but an almost full house waited respectfully till mid afternoon to celebrate the extraordinary career, 188 Test and 704 wickets of England's greatest. Warner's last dance was at Sydney, his home ground, ending a spectacular 15-year-old career that bought him 20,000 international runs and 48 hundreds. Both Anderson and Warner were allowed a grand departure, their final test appearance announced in advance to give them a dignified exit in front of adoring fans. Yet the emotional moment was not without a touch of sadness. Both were told, politely but firmly, that it was time to go. So, should we say to the Indian greats that it's time to go? Maybe after this series. So, continuing here, thereafter, life is a mixed bag. Warner sits in the commentary booth, passing judgment on colleagues he shared a dressing room with till yesterday. Anderson has had a more troubled transition. After a brief stint with England's fast bowling group, he surprisingly signed up for an IPL auction and unsurprisingly went unsold. Wow, he has never played T20, even at the prime of his bowling. There's really no reason for any team to pick him. He will bowl in T20 mode, and then in T20 games, he will get hit around for sixes easily. There's not going to be much seam and swing for him to trouble the batsman. Can he bowl Yorkers and slower balls? Maybe he can, but at 42, no team is going to pick him if you have never played T20 before. Who should be blamed for India's repeated failures with the bad Gautam Gambhir led back coaching staff? BCCI for not hiring a batting coach, not having a batting coach. Abhishek Nair is there. Is he not our batting coach? If he is the assistant coach, then what is the role of Rayan Ten Doschat batters themselves? Actually, it's the batters themselves. You can get all the coaching in the world, and Gautam Gambhir can teach you whatever you want. But our batsmen are superstars who have scored thousands of runs at the international level. So they have nothing, they have nobody but themselves to blame. Anyway, what was the 42-year-old retired quick really thinking? In an interview, he explained that he was still passionate about playing, was fit and motivated, bowling as well as ever, and could still contribute, which could be true but shows how difficult it is for champion athletes to gracefully move on. Well, you think you can contribute, but the format you have played is a different one for most of your career. I don't think he has played much of limited over cricket, either one day or T20, in the last 10 years for England. I don't think they have picked him after 2015 World Cup in that squad for limited overs cricket. And even if he's really motivated, then why doesn't he show that by playing other T20 leagues around the world? How about playing in South Africa T20? How about playing in the 100 in England itself? How about playing in Major League Cricket in US? What about CPL? Why only IPL? I think it has more to do with money and less with motivation and passion part. Maybe at 42, he has played only Test cricket, hasn't earned a lot of money playing IPL and other leagues around the world. So I don't know if he's short on money and is looking to make some quick bucks here. But I think he can get commentary or coaching job easily. He should look in that direction. Somehow, these supremely gifted persons, blessed with skills and loads of self belief, are convinced they can carry on doing what they have successfully done for so long. This is the best part here. These supremely gifted persons, blessed with skills and loads of self belief, are convinced they can carry on doing what they have successfully done for so long. Anderson feels he can take more wickets. Warner probably thinks more hundreds await him. And this is the problem with most cricketers in India as well. They think they can carry on playing for as long as they want to. Look at Sachin Tendulkar. He didn't wanted to retire even after 2011 World Cup, and last 2 years were painful to watch, except his 100th century. And then look at MS Dhoni as well. I think after 2015 2016 he should have retired from one day cricket as well, but he continued playing till 2019, and for last 3 years he couldn't finish any matches which he used to do easily at his prime. So each player reaches a stage where things are not the same, especially with advancing age. Suddenly batters realize it is taking longer to judge length, the feet don't move well, the ball is hitting the bat a shade quicker. Cover drives end up in the slip, the flick of the legs results in leg before decision, and the front foot pull lobs gently to point instead of sailing over mid wicket. Bowlers suffer a similar skill decline. Spinners search for the grip, bite, bounce, and turn they had till the other day. I think Ashwin and Jadeja are going through this phase. They just don't look the same bowler they used to look earlier anymore. Quicks, whose carry once surprised the keeper, now struggle to get the ball stump high, and with nip gone, the leg cutter poses no threat to the batters. I've never seen any bowler struggling to get bounce, but what they struggle with is with the pace. As you age, your pace obviously comes down, and that nip that goes, that is true. It's not only about bounce, it's not about pace, but there's certain kind of bowlers who are at their prime, seems faster than the speed gun reads, and they seem to get just enough swing and seam to make the batsman struggle even when other bowlers on the same pitch gets the ball to go completely straight on. Often it's not a matter of skill but lower motivation. A performance fades, lower motivation. Hmm. When you achieve so much in life, when you achieve everything in life which you wanted to and more, after that it's really hard to keep yourself motivated to prepare yourself for that final performance in the field. I think more than the lack of motivation on the field, it's lack of motivation outside the field to prepare yourself, like spending that extra half an hour in the gym, spending extra hour practicing your batting and bowling skills, learning something new, improving your fitness, improving your game. I think players lose motivation for that outside of the field. As performance fades and pressure increases, the player must ask himself whether he has the hunger and the drive to carry on. Judge if there is fuel left in the tank, whether the battery is still charged. While making the final call, champion players look to protect their reputations and not allow failure towards the end to tarnish a long career of achievements. Legacy and lasting impact is important. How future fans judge you is a prime consideration. Well, in the next generation is going to know you a little less than the current generation, and so whoever the stars are of the next generation, they will be hold at much higher pedigree than you. This was true for Sunil Gavaskar, who had Sachin Tendulkar being rated higher than him. Then when Kohli was at his prime, young people started rating Kohli higher than Sachin Tendulkar. But only it's through his struggles of last 4 5 years that now people are not rating him as high as they used to till 2019. So if someone next comes in line, they would be rated higher than all of these greats as well. In India, our greats live on forever, much after retirement. They are lifelong celebrities holding a cricket credit card that provides unlimited benefits of adulation and riches. Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, Saurav Ganguly, Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, Virender Sehwag, Lakshman, Anil Kumble, Harbhajan Singh, and Yuvraj Singh were outstanding servants of Indian cricket who earned the respect and love of fans. The current Indian team has superstars no less accomplished who will soon be challenged by the retirement issue. Virat Kohli and R. Ashwin are cricket's royalty. Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja are among the finest in an exclusive group of only 316 players who have represented India in Tests since 1932. So they are one of 316 players. Only 316 players have represented India in Test matches till date. Each will take a calculated call at the appropriate time, wanting to leave on a happy note with dignity, grace, and respect. But that has never happened in Indian cricket except Sunil Gavaskar. There's not even one Indian player who has retired when on top. MS Dhoni retired from Test cricket when he could have played for a couple of more years, but then for one day he kept playing till 2019, even when he was completely past his prime. And even in T20, in IPL, he is playing even today at early 40s when he's clearly past his prime. But T20 is fun. He was able to play shots freely in last year's IPL, so it's all good with him. Anyway, each will take a calculated call at the appropriate time, wanting to leave on a happy note with dignity, grace, and respect. Virat summed this up nicely when he said, "He's not the type to hang around." We'll see. Usually, retirements are not sudden, and it's possible to see the finish line in a player's career after a glorious marathon run. Of course, Dhoni defied the trend by rewriting the retirement script, but others must listen to their body and consult their brains before deciding to hit the pause button. In most cases, it is a hard group discussion with self because no outsider can provide a meaningful input. In a way, compared to the past, retirement is not such a dreaded prospect anymore. Considering cricket's growing ecosystem, true legends have a job guarantee scheme with multiple options available to them for remaining connected. Retirement, cricket's afterlife, is not a dead end, only a fresh innings. So this is true. Unlike the previous generations where once you retire from cricket, you don't have any more source of income and you have to go look for a job somewhere else. Today these cricketers have so many things to do. They could do commentary, they could join the coaching staff, you could coach international teams or the IPL teams, and there's a very good amount of money to be made. And do you think these cricketers like Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma will stop getting sponsorship deals from the companies? In the age of social media, they will remain relevant forever. They will continue getting sponsorship deals, and they have already earned enough money so that multiple generations can live on that money now. So I don't think money is the reason they continue playing. It's more they don't, that's the only thing they have done their entire life and they don't want it to end. But I think time has catch up, age has catch up on them. And if we do not end up winning this series in Australia, then I think these stars should seriously move aside and let the next generation have a go at it, even though the next generation players are also failing along with them as well. Rohit Sharma's captaincy exposed again. Sastry won baffled after Kohli placement that can cost you big time. Okay, so I read another piece. Kenya cricket is dead and buried. This is a 10-year-old piece. There was this left arm spinner in the Kenyan team who bowled a very good spell against Australia in 2003 World Cup. I remember watching that live. He bowled a very miserly spell, didn't give many runs, hardly gave away any runs, and picked up a few wickets. So let's find that out. I'm not going to read this in detail, just looking to find out his performance. So he was retired, he came back into the Kenyan team for the World Cup. Kenya, if you remember, reached the semi final of the 2003 World Cup. We had an incompetent administration for the last 10 years. The results are clear. Where is the cricket now? With my second ball, I saw that there was turn on the wicket and that was a little bit shaky. The sharp chance was put down by Slip, diving to his left, but Kareem was not to be deterred. I kept putting the pressure on him, and every ball he was struggling. With his fifth delivery, Kareem bowled a faster arm ball that went straight on. It thudded into Ponting's back leg before he had time to get his bat down. So began one of the most enchanting bowling spells. A man in his 40th year, a long time retired from his part-time cricketing career, bewitching Australia. Okay, they are talking about something about his bowling on on that night. He got a slip in place for the one that goes on with the arm. You bowl one that really turns a lot, surprises the batsman. The next one goes on with the arm. He looks for the turn and nicks it to slip. But Lehman didn't nick Kareem's next ball to slip. He edged it behind instead, deceived by a delivery straight across him from over the wicket. So he bowled 2 overs, 2 maidens, and 3 wickets. No more wickets followed, but he continued to vary his flight, pace, and turn with mastery. This was an Australian side for whom relentlessly attacking cricket was the first and last resort, but they were forced to make an exception for Kareem. After 8 overs, he had conceded only 2 runs. 8 overs, 2 runs, 3 wickets. Kenya were defeated by 5 wickets, but Kareem's performance was established as one of the most remarkable in the history of World Cups. So he bowled 8 overs for just 2 runs and 3 wickets. It was unbelievable. After the game, I must have done at least 50 interviews from CNN to Sky to all the Indian channels. I think any cricketer would dream of my performance against Australia. It came from nowhere. That is something I treasure every day, including today. Whenever it comes up, there is the smile. Yes, Saurav Ganguly scored a century in the semi-final of that World Cup. That was Saurav Ganguly's last one day century. I still remember that. I think Sachin also scored a century in that match, if I'm not wrong, or he played a good innings at least. Let's check that score. Yeah, see, Sachin scored 83, Dada scored a century, we got only 270, and then we won by about 90 runs here. Who was the man of the match in this match? It was Saurav Ganguly. So let's go back. So after Kenya's defeat, Karim retired for good. He left international cricket with his teammates, believing that their opportunity to play Test cricket was imminent. Karim says that he would have relished the chance, but he was never convinced that Kenya were ready for Test status, owing to the board's penchant for prioritizing short form success over the long form establishment of cricketing infrastructure in the country. So, according to him, it was the boards who prioritized their short term success and didn't establish proper cricketing infrastructure in the country, and that's why Kenya has disappeared from the cricketing landscape. When Kenya reached the semi final, they proved themselves worthy of test sides. After beating West Indies, Kenya became regular presence in triangular and quadrangular ODI tournaments around the world, twice beating India. They beat Bangladesh in six of the first seven ODIs between the sides. So I remember back in the day, in the late 90s and early 2000s, Kenya was a decent side. You won't lose to them every day, but they were one of the minnows. But you couldn't take them lightly. But Karim believes that all the while the foundation on which Kenyan cricket were built were collapsing. The development structure and domestic cricket became weaker as we became stronger internationally. As Kenya seemed on the cusp of test status in the years after Bangladesh's elevation in 2000, the board invested virtually all its funds into professionalizing the national team and the national stadium in Nairobi. The capital hosted the ICC knockout in 2000 and was awarded two games in 2003 World Cup. Karim and his teammates in 2003 World Cup learned the game in the competitive Nairobi club scene in 80s. Test players like Sanjay Manjrekar, Kiran Mode and Sandeep Patil were all involved, but too little was done to bridge the gap between club and international games. I wonder if they had a proper domestic structure or not. He's talking about club cricket here, so maybe they were playing club cricket and then directly international games. If you don't have a good development structure, where are the Ticolos or the Otumbes or other players to come from? You don't find them on the street. Unless you have good structure, it's very difficult to produce quality cricketers on a regular basis. The ICC and full members could have done much more to nourish Kenyan cricket. After 2003, Test sides abandoned Kenya from playing 18 ODIs against full members 18 months before the World Cup. Kenya played only 11 in 3 years after. Karim portions more blame to Kenya's administrators. Our own house was not in order. That's right. You can't blame others for your own failure. Put your own house in order, arrange proper domestic cricket, and then you can reach out to other boards to play you either in Kenya or in their country. But you can't say that the responsibility of improving your cricket lies with the full member countries, and that's what the current associate nations do as well. Sides like Netherlands, they put all the blame on full member sides, especially the top three, asking them to come and play to the in their country all the time. I don't think that is the right thing to do. Sites like Netherlands and Namibia and Scotland and Nepal and Oman and UAE, they have to play a lot more cricket among themselves and even with minnows in international cricket like Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Though Afghanistan is not that weak anymore, they are a strong side. But teams like Bangladesh and then Kenya, Namibia. A couple of other teams as well from associate nations who are on and around. They are always on the cusp of being eligible to play T20 World Cup or the 50 over World Cup. Those teams should play a lot more cricket among themselves, make it competitive, get your crowd involved in the game, and once the game itself becomes so famous in the country that children are playing it, those children will grow up and start playing for your country, and you will have a good cricketing team. That is the only way to improve. Associate nations cannot improve just by playing full member sides and getting hammered day in and day out. You have to actually play competitive your level of cricket to become better than others. When players will aspire to become better cricketers than the other 21 players in that game, and when there are many players who do that, and then once they become better players, there will be other players who will look up to them and say, if they can do it, we can do it too. Then your cricket will improve. By corruption charges and infighting, the Kenyan Cricket Association was dissolved in 2006, replaced by Cricket Kenya. I didn't know that. But administration was not Kenya's only problem. There was also greed among the players. I always used to explain to them that don't run after success, because when you are successful, money follows you. A year after Kenya's appearance in the World Cup semi-final, their former captain, Maurice Odumbe, was found guilty of match fixing. Coupled with the off-field turbulence, the Kenyan cricket movement had gone. Karim didn't Karim doesn't envisage Kenya ever having a similar chance to join the international elite. They didn't qualify for earlier this year's World T20 or next year's World Cup, and have even lost ODI status. Remember, this is from 2014. So they are talking about 2014 T20 World Cup and 2015 World Cup. Yeah, and it's been 10 years and Kenya hasn't managed to qualify for the World Cups yet. I'm sure even Uganda qualified for T20 World Cup earlier this year. They beat Kenya in whatever the qualifying tournament was going on. So you have to be better than that. See, unless you have children playing on the streets, you are not going to become a good side. You can't be a test playing nation. I'm sure you can feel it in my voice even now. He says it is beyond sad and painful. It is a great missed opportunity, and they should never be forgiven for letting it pass. Whether it is the administration, the players, or whoever it is, all the stakeholders should never be forgiven for this missed opportunity. Kenyan cricket is dead, Karim asserts. It is dead and buried. Your intent can be good, but if you are not competent to do something, it doesn't happen. We have had an incompetent administration for the last 10 years. The results are clear. Where is the cricket now? My prediction is that from being an associate team having ODI status, we will become an affiliate. What can be done to reinvigorate Kenyan cricket? The first thing I would do is say we are on ground zero. Number two, I would call all the stakeholders, including past administration. Yeah. We would have a brainstorming session for a week. Start again. During the wait, young Kenyan cricketers seek. During the wait, any young Kenyan cricketer seeking inspiration could do worse than recall Karim's spell against Australia. He certainly intends them to. He personally uploaded his entire spell into YouTube. So he's talking about some plans that would take 10 years before any meaningful results would come. No, 10 years have passed by and nothing has come of that. Then there's another news. Sky's limit for Prithvi Shaw if he gets his work ethics right, Shreyas Iyer. So Shreyas Iyer is giving advice to Prithvi Shaw that if he get his work ethics right, sky's the limit for that. Yeah, I saw some of these domestic T20 matches, and in one match Prithvi Shaw was batting well. He scored 49 and then got out. But in other matches, he didn't do so well. He is a God gifted player, but he needs to work harder on his game. There is a saying that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. He needs to get his work ethics right, and if he does that, sky's the limit for him. We can't babysit anyone, he's right. Anyway, so that's all for this video. Until next time, see ya.